Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are right smack dab in the middle of our wonderful experience of bringing surprise and magic to our lives right now, to allowing in surprise and magic. And at this midpoint in the week, I just want to take a couple of minutes and review where we've been, just so if you're dropping in for the first time or finding this video as the first video, that you can orient yourself to what else is available. So day one, we focused on, in the morning, the Oracle card reading focused on getting help from your future self. And then in the afternoon, we dived into how to clear and protect your energy. So important. Yesterday, our frequency upgrade was about really understanding how to know the difference between what your intuition is telling you and what your mind is telling you. And today we're going to be focused on sealing energy leaks. So for those of you who are here live, hello, hello. You'll see I've got my little cozy sweater on because the temperatures have definitely dropped here. So what does this mean? And that this morning, we touched on it a little bit in the card reading, and I will drop a link below after these videos are complete so that you can find the morning card reading if you haven't seen it yet. But for now, we'll just stay here with what we're going to do because I do want to keep these as succinct as possible. And I think this one's going to be a little bit longer because it takes a little explanation. Hello, everyone. So what are energy leaks? What am I talking about? Energy leaks happen for a lot of reasons. But basically it's when, if you think of your being, when we put that protective bubble around us on the day one, it's a container for our energy, right? My energy stays with me, your energy stays with you. And ideally, we all walk around and we're nice and clean and we keep our energy to ourselves. And that isn't always the case. So what can happen is that we can have gaps in that container that is our energy system. And a lot of times what causes those gaps are we either run a cord to someone, or they run a cord to us, they tap into us, or we just haven't fortified that energy system and, our energy is just going out in different places. And oftentimes that is happening as a result of fear. It's happening as a result of worry, shame. Any of these emotions can cause our energy to leak out of our system. So if you are feeling particularly depleted right now, or if you're wondering, feels like my energy isn't where it could be, then this one's going to help. So, we can leak energy back to the past and the future as well by worrying about the future or worrying about the past or feeling shame about the past. And I'm not going to go into that because that's a very comprehensive type of energy discussion. I'm going to stick with something that I feel is really simple that can give you an understanding of how to clean up this energy leak in a real tangible way that's manageable. And then you can play with it at a deeper level. So I really do encourage you, use what I'm giving you today, play with it so that you understand like how this actually works. And then take the information and expand on it. Similar to, I did the protection and clearing with you on day one. And if you have people that you care for, so this would be an elderly person that's dependent on you, a disabled person that's dependent on you, or a child under the age of 16 or 18, depending on which belief system you have, all of those people that are dependents, we have the authority to clear and protect for them. Otherwise, people have to do it themselves, right? So I've given you how to do that for yourself. Now you could expand that and do it, for people that you're taking care of, let's say. And so in this case, I'm going to give you the nuts and bolts, and then you're going to be able to use it in bigger and bigger ways. And Reed is saying, so not an ancestral clearing. No, this is not an ancestral clearing. No. So, but I think you can probably use the tools and maybe play with them in that realm as well. So we're going to focus on something that I'm seeing a lot of, especially compassionate humans, which I know is you, in a state of compassion fatigue. There's just, we're being bombarded by information that's having us be concerned for our fellow humans and be concerned for, different groups of people in different areas of the world. Now, you can apply this to someone that, you're related to, someone that you know personally, or it could be a state of mind where you're worrying about, in the United States, I'll bring up again, just because it's happening at this moment, when, the SNAP benefits, which is the food assistance program, was shut down because of a government shutdown. There was a lot of people in deep concern for those that would be needing those benefits. Okay. So then that's like a larger group of people, where it might be, a child of yours or a sibling or a parent is behaving in a way that is really concerning you. Maybe they're not getting the kind of care that they need for their body or their mind, or maybe they're engaging in a behavior that feels concerning for you, or maybe they're out of a job and you're worried about them. Okay. These are all the kinds of experiences that we want to talk about for this training, because these are the ones that are really, the reason I think they're so helpful to work with right now is because they are the most removed from your experience. And so you really have no business putting your energy into those situations at all. But we want to do something that really matches the desire, which is the reason you're worrying is because you have care. So what can you do when you care about others that is actually helpful? It's not leaking your energy. And on top of that, creating that energy leak, you're also contributing to a lower vibration state for that person. One of the worst things we can do for someone is to feel pity for them, right? It's you're seeing them in a depleted state. With you, the power of your own inner sight, when you feel pity for someone, you're disempowering them, because they are a whole soul that has the same amount of divine power that you have. And so you want to come back to a place where you are seeing them as whole, and you are seeing them as the divine creature, sentient being that they are. So to get started, I would like you to think about a person or a group of people, or even an entire country, or you could even go to like the full population of the world, whatever feels like it's really been heavy on you. I want you to pick someone or someone's that you have found yourself, your mind going to it, and you're feeling concerned, something that goes to worry, or even just a lower vibration. Like when you think about it, you immediately kind of, right? And there's nothing wrong with this, right? This is sort of the way we were raised. It's the way we kind of end up in learning how to care for people is kind of worrying about them. Now, not everyone gets raised that way. And if you weren't raised that way, then just like amen to your ancestors. But the majority of us, especially those that are empathic, compassionate beings, we tend to learn to worry. The people in Jamaica post hurricane, perfect example. So for those of you who are on live, and actually those of you watching even in the replay, post a comment if you feel comfortable, right? I don't want you to do anything that creates shame, but please post a comment of either who it is, like that you've locked in on who we're going to work with for your particular situation. Or if you don't want to say who it is, then just say, yes, I've got mine. I've got mine. And I just need to see a couple of those comments before I move on, because I want to make sure that people can get locked in on it. And while you do that, so you can either post yes, I've got mine, or you can say who it is. Either one is fine. Just helps me. Yes, good. All right, and I am just going to do some breathing because some of you may need to just take a moment to really consider this. So while you do that, I'm going to breathe in and out. In and out. In and out. Okay. The other thing I will mention is if you have not cleared and protect for today, what I'd like you to do is, from an energetic standpoint, just sort of listen to this training. Don't engage it yet. Make sure you've cleared and you've protected what we did in day one before you engage this training. So if you feel like, oh God, I've got to just get off because I can't trust myself not to do it, by all means do that. Put a pause. If you're watching on replay, go back and do the clearing, because we really want to be in a contained state. Now, and it looks like you have locked in. So now, Jerry, I'm going to go to your comment just because I want to make some a clarity. You said there are several people facing cancer surgery next week in Houston. And I'm assuming you have individual relationships with them. Just for the purposes of doing the training, just pick one of them, then you can go back and do it with the others. Now, if it's a different situation where you feel them as a single entity, for instance, another person mentioned the people in Jamaica, like for the most part, most of us who don't have relatives or know someone in Jamaica, we're seeing them as an entity. So that works. Okay. So I want you to go ahead and consider that person or those group of people that you're thinking about. And I want you to scan your body and notice where your energy is connecting to them. Where is it coming from? Almost always, when I worry about someone, it comes from my solar plexus. It doesn't mean that's your answer. I'm just telling you that's where mine is. Almost always. And there's a reason for that in me, is that being someone who used a lot of my own will to try and get people to do the things I wanted them to do, and will comes from the solar plexus, I tend to try and will them to be something different. There's been other circumstances where it's my heart that's hurting. And so that will go out from my heart chakra. So just notice where in your body is that energy going out. And once you have located it, okay, I'm seeing you've got yours. Good. Once you've located that, let's understand that we are not being helpful, even though we've done this out of instinct, this is not what is going to help those people that we care about. And so now, and this may be more difficult for some of you than others, you may see it as a cord where you've run an actual cord to the situation, or it may just be like a stream of energy. If it's a cord, we're going to ask Archangel Michael to come in and to dissolve that cord with divine light. So you're just going to visualize that cord being just dissolved with divine light, and the energy that was on their side of that where it's been dissolved is going to go. You're just going to let go of them, and you're going to pull your own energy back into your body visually. And if you see this as a stream of energy, not a full cord, then you're just going to ask Archangel Michael to please help you disconnect from that stream. And you're going to pull your energy back into the place that it's leaving from your body. And with the request, Archangel Michael, and if you have a different being that you want to work with, by all means, use it. Archangel Michael, fill this space with light and love. Fill this space with light and love. So you just want to feel that space being filled up with light and love. That's sealing that energy. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Breathe in the light and breathe it out. Breathe in the light and breathe it out. Now you're standing in or sitting, but you're in the full capacity of your power to do something helpful. So the next place is, what is it that you can do? Well, you want to visualize them in the solution. So, let's go to the people of Jamaica who are post-hurricane. Is the place where your mind goes to where there's just lots of helicopters landing with resources helping? Or can you get to a place where you can see Jamaica back to full capacity, where it is all the people are living full and vibrant lives? The damage is resolved. Or maybe you're going to put bubbles of protection and see all the angels that are available to them, and just be seeing those angels and like clapping for the angels and visualizing the angels. There's no one right way to do this. You want to do whatever you can get to. So for instance, if it's a loved one that has cancer, you may not be able to see them in full health because the reality of the cancer is just too disparate from what you see. So what you do want to do and what you can do is to see the soul within the body, to see the soul, see it as the divine within that person. And you really want to concentrate for as long as you can. Start with, if you can get to 20 seconds, and I'm going to set a timer. Well, I thought I was going to. I put my phone down. Whatever the solution is, and again, the best one we can do is see every being in a exalted state of divinity, so that they know their full divinity within them and they are within the solution that you wish for them. Let me know if this cue that I've given you makes sense, or if I need to do anything to clear it up, because I want to make sure that this is something that you understand. And while you do that, I'm going to describe something that happened to me last week, which was I got out of the car in my at my supermarket parking lot, and there was this gorgeous music, just amazing music. And I was like, where is this coming from? It's like the supermarket piping music into the parking lot. And all of a sudden I realized it was a man playing a violin and it was gorgeous. And so I went over, I drove towards where he was to see what was going on. And he had a sign, and the sign said, I'm, an unemployed father. I have children. Any amount helps. And immediately I went from a state of appreciating the gorgeous gift he was giving to the world to worrying about him and hurting for him. And so what I did was exactly what I just described to you. I cut that cord that I started to run to him, that energy stream, pulled it back in. And I said, I see you as the beautiful, amazing man that you are. I see you as the artist. I did this in my mind's eye. And I just kept watching him grow and grow and get bigger and bigger. And this beautiful violinist. And I just saw him with such clarity of, being in an orchestra and his family being there and so happy, and just my imagination of what he would want his life to look like. I wasn't, it doesn't matter if it matches, because this is just me just blowing up the divinity, the most exalted version of him that I could see. So that's what this looks like. Yes, it makes sense. It's difficult for me to see her soul. Okay, so now if you can't see the soul, just see what I just described. This bigger than life version of that person or these group of people you are worried about, but in their greatest, most exalted state. And it's going to be different for everyone. This isn't so much getting it right as the energy you feel when you think about them. So the more I thought about him, this beautiful violinist, just being in this, amazing career and having his family there and his children, applauding for him and just exalting in it, the better and better and better I felt. Adeline is saying, clarify, please. When you ask Archangel Michael to dissolve the cord and seal opening with love and light, do you mean seal your opening or that of the other person? Great question, Adelina. All you can ever do is seal your own. So it is yours. It's the place where you're running that energy from. You want to seal that up with light. Put like a light, like not light like in density, but light, like bright light, sealing wherever that energy leak was coming from. And then there's one more step. And now, from that understanding of that other being or beings in their exalted state, in their most divine state, now you are in a position to understand, am I in a position of assistance? From my state of power, is there something available to me that I can do? And in the example of the violinist, there was. He was asking for money and I had money to give. And so I could give it, but not from a state of pity for him, but from an appreciation for who he was and a confidence that he could get to where he needed to go. And I would play whatever part I could play, which in that case was money. But when we give our gifts to others, in whatever way we give them, if they don't come from a place of equality, of deep respect, of understanding how powerful that other soul is, it's tinged. It's tinged. And our worry and our guilt and whatever else we're feeling, when we send that out into the world, as much as we have a positive intention to do it, we are actually pouring that into the energetic pool that is the earth. And our work right now is to do the opposite. It's to pour the love in. And a lot of times when you're raised in a family like I was, worry and love kind of go hand in hand, right? The way I show my love is to worry about you. Not helpful, right? So we want to come back to this. So let me know if this works if this worked for everyone or if you're left with questions. This one was a little bit more challenging for me to think through how to convey this. And I feel so strongly it's the most important thing right now. So I'm just going to say again, the steps is 1, get clear of where a lower level emotion is leaving your body because of a situation. In this case, we're talking about another person. Cut the cord to that or cut the energy stream to that. Seal up the energy within your own body so you're keeping your energy within your own body. Visualize the problem state in the exalted state. And then from that place, ask yourself, is there something that I can do to be helpful beyond what you just did? Because what you did is helpful. It's incredibly helpful, incredibly helpful. And so when I had originally talked to when I sent out an email about this training, the first time what I said was, if there's a secret to manifestation, this is it. And what I mean by that is when you are trying to manifest, not just in your own life, but really, when we get beyond what we want, I think most people would like to see the world to be in a more balanced and equitable place, right? That collectively, I think we are manifesting that right now. And the quickest way to that is to make sure that we are staying in the confidence of the exalted state, staying in the confidence of the exalted state. Geraldine saying, amazing, I'm here tonight. I put a call out to our choir this AM and money just poured in within a few hours of support. I love that. Absolutely, you needed this training today. I'm so glad. Thanks, that's clear, seeing light and love. Perfect. Now, like I said, this one, I stayed with other people in this example because, again, it's clear, like that's their energy. This is our energy. But you can then take this training I just gave you, take this example, and you can apply it to your own life and the things you are feeling lower emotions about within your own existence. Are you feeling shame of something? Are you feeling worried about something? A lot of times when we want to call something in, it's because the lack is there, right? And we want to move out of that lack energy. And so how do we do it? Well, first, we cut the cord to the relationship, to the thing that's missing. So we stop paying attention to that. And then we see ourselves in the exalted state, right? This is the visualization that so many manifestation teachings talk about it. But the point is not to get to the point is make sure before you go to the visualization or even conceptualize the visualization, you've cleared the energy leak of worry or fear or shame or doubt or one of these other lower emotions. Okay, so I just realized I said I was going to hold a timer and then I got off track. So if anyone is not quite at the place where they feel like they've held that visualization, we're going to do that now. So you're going to visualize for 20 seconds whoever it is that you were thinking of in that exalted state. And then I'm going to cue you to ask for what is within your power to be of assistance beyond this very powerful visualization you've done for that person or those people. All right. So we're going to start now, get into a place. You're visualizing. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. Look at that. Can you believe it? Can you believe how easy that solution came to be for that person? And that's the end of time. And now just call into your heart center or your solar plexus or wherever that energy was originally leaving you and ask, what is there for me to do in this situation? Where do I have power? Where do I have power? And then whatever your answer is, I'm so curious, did anyone get an answer that surprised them or get an answer period? Like my brother and my sister-in-law have a newborn, and they just went through a weekend. They all got COVID at the same time. They are both entrepreneurs. My brother is a professional Santa, so things are just starting to heat up. For him, his website went down, completely crashed. I mean, they were in a time of it. And so I just kept leaving him voice messages. I'm so impressed with how you're handling this. You guys are such amazing parents. Look at you showing up, because actually another thing that happened was he had gone through 24 hours where the baby just couldn't be soothed. And he was, and he felt terrible. They didn't know that they all had COVID yet. So I went to the doctor the next morning, found out that the baby had COVID along with the two of them. And he just said he was so upset that he didn't realize the baby had COVID. But how would he know that the baby had COVID? He was sick as a dog as well. And so I just kept feeding into his story. And how amazing are you that with COVID, you just stayed up and you held that baby for 24 hours straight to make sure he was okay, right? Like, we can just feed beautiful confidence. We just remind another of how incredibly strong they are, of how powerful they are, versus saying, oh, are you okay? Now, I will say, and I'm curious, did anyone get an answer of what they could do for their person? I'm not seeing any of those comments, so I just want to make sure those answers came through. Look, my friends and I, we joke around, and if I'm having a day of it, I do want them to say to me, that sucks. That's not the same thing. I want them to be in it with me. I want them to let me know that I am not alone. But on the back of that, I do need to hear, and I know you're going to get through this, because look at all the other ways you have already. What I can offer: prayer and imagining Jamaica in divine light and love, brighter and brighter solutions. Beyond my current imagery. I love it. I love it. And if you can't come up with a solution, then that's when you can, first of all, if you can't visualize, just putting a colored light, like whatever you think is needed. So if you think soothing is needed, a light blue light, or if you think higher knowledge, like divine knowledge is needed, a connection to the divine, then like a violet light. If you think safety is needed, then maybe showing them like being protected by trees and things that are more rooted and grounded. Sending her light and love and seeing her as strong. Beautiful, beautiful. And speaking into that story, even if it's just in your own mind. The other thing is, then this is a time, one of the things we did yesterday was understanding when your intuition is speaking and when your mind is speaking. This is one of the times that you can put your mind to work then once you get back to a place of power. So for instance, the SNAP benefits, the food supplements, like I said, had been put on hold, right? Hopefully they're restored quickly. And I know for a lot of people that I know, this feeling of, oh my God, what do I do? And what happens is all of a sudden the fact that 41 or 42 million people are going to be without these benefits all land as like one. But the reality is, we can't help 41 or 42 million people. I forget what the statistic is, but what can you do? And so I went through the math. And so in my community, being the state of Connecticut, the average person gets $194 of assistance. And 1 out of 10 people in Connecticut, it's not that in every state, but in Connecticut, it's 1 out of every 10 people gets it. And so I just did the math. Okay, so if, let's say, 3 out of those 10 or 5 out of those 10 can be of assistance to the people that need it, then we just take $194 and you divide it by 5, and you have a number, and just contribute that number to your food pantry. And no, is that going to solve the whole problem? No, but it is within a container that is reasonable, because and it's not everyone shows up. If a portion of the people show up in that same spirit, then the gap is met. And then we're actually contributing, because what happens is when we are in a state of that fear or that worry, and we feel that overwhelm of that issue. I see this happening a lot with parents when their children are are raising kids. And so like you've got your kid, but then they've got their kid now. And like, you want to jump in and you want to like help them and you want to do all the things, but they're on their own journey, right? They're on their own journey. So what is it that we can do that's respectful of the autonomy of other people, that's still helpful and is reasonable and pulls us out of overwhelm, right? Because if you keep that big number, 41 million, 42 million in your head, you're going to be in paralysis. But when you actually drive down to something manageable, then all of a sudden it's doable. And then we're all contributing. Instead of critiques, I can offer positive reinforcement when the person takes action. Amazing, Amy. Just visualizing my friend laughing and coming back to herself was good for me. Beautiful, Linda. Yes, 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 yes. And just know that a lot of times it is not ours, right? And so checking in, like, is this mine to do anything with other than pray, other than visualize, right? Doesn't mean we disconnect from the problems of the world. We are honest. Where can I help? And then we help in that way. And then we know that we're in that container. All right. So thank you everyone for spending this time with me. And we're on day 3. So tomorrow we will be doing personal card readings. There will be a mini training in there, but this is where I will be doing some card readings for some individuals. Just know, whether you are the one that gets the card reading or you're watching on replay long after this week is over, I promise you, if you call in the message that you want to receive, the message you need to receive, that even if I'm not reading for you, you will hear what you need to hear within another person's reading. It's miraculous. It's amazing how spirit can work that way. And if you want to be entered to get one of those private readings, and we haven't gone live yet, leave a comment on any of the videos from this week after they have gone live, or show up on Thursday, November 6th at 2 p.m. As long as you're on there, you'll be entered. All right, everyone. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day.